Here we go on episode 67 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast, your weekly shot in the arm rendition of How Do I Junk Removal and What's Next. I'm Andy Weins, he's Casey Bubba Lawrence, and every week we come to you to talk to you about how to grow, scale, and build your junk removal dream. As always, Casey, what are we doing? What are we talking about this week?
I think this week is going to be a freestyle episode.
Oof,
Unfortunately, we had a guest had to postpone or reschedule, so kind of left this up to be creative, which, hell, I actually like that sometimes. I think it's fresh. So today we're going to talk about whatever we think is relevant in today's market.
Whatever we think is relevant in today's market. Well, we could go to the Facebook pages. I continue to see, actually, that's what I have seen. I've seen a lot of trucks going up for sale.
For sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
that's I've seen more of that in the last probably. Yeah, I know it's not. Well, I mean, it is what it is. And so the lagging indicator, right? Leading is like, oh, hey, there's something going on, right? Leading indicator versus lagging. Lagging is like, oh, trucks are being sold. That means people are already closing, which means the industry's already kind of turned. So I know I've seen that in this Facebook groups. Maybe I'll hop on and pop on a Facebook group here.
We did put a poll up.
Oh, we put up a poll? We did that?
But by the time this episode airs, it's going to be an irrelevant poll.
What was the poll?
The poll was just about, what kind of guests would you like to have on this show? And surprisingly enough, they can't get enough of SEO experts.
All right, we can get more marketing. We are not short on marketing people that want to.
Not at all.
Hang out with us and pitch their stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's something. All right. So
we'll have to put that in the chamber.
Well, a lot of it is the marketing, right? I teach the 6 buckets of business, right? And when I teach the 6 buckets of business, one of the things that right off the bat, marketing is the first bucket. Without marketing, without the phone ringing, you don't have much else.
That? I think this goes to show, okay, let's look at the trucks that are for sale right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there for days and days and analyze the root cause for each business and why they're selling or why they're closing down, if they are in fact closing down, or why they're downsizing. And I'm willing to bet most of the time it comes straight back to marketing. The reason I say that is because we've said this over the past year. A lot of people got into the business when the business was hot. And right now,
so hot.
Yeah, right now it's hard to, if you've built up a year or 2 years of online presence, and at the same time, it's getting to the point where that's not enough. Well, where do you go? Well, if you haven't stuck to the basics, or maybe you didn't start the basics, maybe that's a huge reason. I for one, have seen that. One of my clients, actually, he's on the border of like, hey, do I stick to dumpsters or do I keep going junk removal? Because he's doing so well in dumpsters because of the experience and how long he's been doing it, that it's actually hurting his junk removal business. And I'm like, well, no offense, but you got to pick one at this point. You're doing so bad in one of them. I think you should pick one and double down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't be bad at 2 things. Real quick on the trucks note. Juan Carlos Prada, Junk Ninja, shout out. This is on the Junk Removal Trash Talk, not to be confused with the Trash Talk Business Podcast VIP. Anyways, he goes, well, officially I've had it all in terms of equipment: utility trailer, dump truck, and a box truck. ... If I would do it all over again, I would start with a box truck instead of a pickup and a trailer. So next time someone tells you bad things about one for junk removal, keep in mind that they just might be like I used to be and don't know what they're talking about. # love my box truck.
Where's he at?
I don't know. Looks nice. Wooded area. I'll look into this. Here's the deal. I'm a huge proponent of box trucks. I'm also a huge proponent of people using what works for them. What I'm not a huge proponent of is people be like, I would never try that. It's like, okay, how do you know? Right? Like,
put your shit for sale then.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You and I both, we've been doing this for a while. I have succeeded and failed in a lot of different endeavors. And even with Andy Barton, I have looked into since one of our last episodes, I have looked into having people, letting people book online. I haven't pulled the trigger. I've been open to it. Kennesaw, Georgia. A lot of people. Kennesaw, the Atlanta market. Junk Ninja, shout out, loves Trump.
Okay.
According to his personal Facebook page.
That's in Taylor's neck of the woods.
That is
up and away junk removal.
Up and away, Taylor. Also, Joseph Junk Removal. Last week, listeners and guest Taylor and Joseph from Joseph's Junk Removal, both out of the Atlanta market, hit me up, came up here and visited my warehouse and learned things and stuff. And we had a good old time. So here we go. Juan Carlos Prada, the Junk Ninja. We're going to have to get him on the podcast. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. You know, I went the Camel Crew route, which is like, I'm a badass veteran kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's a niche and it works.
All right, so here we go. Cash me out. Money talks. Nothing wrong with it. Looking to upgrade. Dump trailer with a winch and solar panel charging 10 yards, 6 foot wide, 10 foot length, 5 foot walls. So there's a challenge. 10 yarder, little baby dump truck, dump trailer. That's for sale. So far in the post of this, right, this is very limited data exercise based on especially in commercial cleanout. So that's a weird one. All right. So far we have one that says, I love my box truck, and one that says my dump trailer is not big enough. So as far as the truck, the vehicle, then you got the standard, here's today's demo project. I do like those posts. I will say that. As far as like, hey, these are the projects I'm on. So other guy said, I'm looking to be part of a clean out. The nice old car. I don't know. I don't do cars. There's no camera. All right, here's one for sale. 2008 Ford F450 dump truck, 23,000, located West Palm Beach. Looks like about a 16 cubic yard box, maybe smaller. There you go, dump truck for sale. And again, I will read the comments to see why. This thing's unwrapped though, so they unwrapped it. I'm not sure.
Well, and I think so. There's two different reasons to be selling assets, right? One, non-performing.
Yep.
Two, I got to upgrade. That's all I think of.
That's both. It's both of them. You're either up or you're out. You know, you're growing or you're dying. There ain't a third direction.
Yeah, and we had mini trucks, and we went through some trucks, trailers, you name it. The one thing I can tell you that we found for us was we made sure that we fit our business, Go.
Okay, real quick. Here's a very honest post. Junk guys selling my 2011 Ford F450. This is the second F450. It looks a bit bigger. 57,000 miles. That's interesting. 57,000 miles on a 13-year-old, 12-year-old truck, right? I got 100,000 on one of the vehicles I've had for 5 years that we shelved for a while. Anyways,
makes you think of a new engine.
Yeah, here's the deal. Reason for selling: downsizing. Nothing wrong with the truck. Okay. Located in California, so our good friends in California are downsizing. Best of luck to them as they. You know what? It's better to fucking. I call it right sizing. No different than our customers, right? It's better to right size and stay in business than to straight up be like, oh, I'm selling everything and I'm including my house. Like that sucks.
We downsized. We downsized from 6 to 4.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it was a mathematical reason. We were doing so much business with 6 trucks and 6 trailers rolling out every day. We had a 7th trailer. It was a flatbed just for our skid steer. But the reason we actually went down in steps. We went from 6 and we're like, wow, like we're making a lot of money, but we're spending a lot of money. So then we looked at the numbers and it was like, do we really need 6 trucks? Then we went down to 5 trucks. Guess what? We actually started seeing a little bit more profit. Then we looked at the numbers and come to find out 4 trucks was our sweet spot. At 4 trucks, I think we even had 16 on the pair, 16 crews, right? Or 16 people.
Got it. 16 guys.
Yeah, 16 guys total. And everybody except for me and our warehouse / yard manager, everybody else was able to be in the trucks in some fashion. So that way, if they weren't in the trucks, they were working the warehouse, the yard.
You also had you also had an operations person. I want to make sure that because you can't run.
Yeah. So
you weren't doing operations for
no.
16
So I had an
trucks.
operations manager, and he was in charge of the team leads and their crews. Team leads were in charge of their crews. I had an admin. All they did was answer the phones, take on jobs, estimates, scheduling, all that good stuff. We had a yard guy who managed the recycling and the yard, right? And we had an auction company that managed our resale. Yeah.
I see another. I got a 2007 Mitsubishi dump truck, 18,000, West Palm Beach. That's two in Florida, one in California. Trucks for sale. So with us, we have 5 trucks that come up on their lease this October, and we're getting rid of 2 of them, and we're keeping our pickup trucks because those are our manager vehicles. And what happened last year was we bought a truck out of cycle before we needed it. It is what it is. So we're actually getting rid of 2 trucks. So we're going to go from 10 trucks or from 12 trucks to 10 trucks. And really it's 7 trucks that are working because 3 of them are manager vehicles. So, or, our myself, our fleet, our warehouse manager, and our company president. And what we're also doing though is we're putting a lift gate. Our one box truck does not have a lift gate. It's a 24-foot box truck. We're putting a lift gate on it because our guys. Why do you say that?
Because that's a big deal.
Oh yeah. Well, we're reinvesting.
So much off of labor.
I didn't love lift gates. Yeah, I did not love lift gates until I started using them. That's been the cat's pajama. Here's another 2008 Ford F350 dump body, 10 by 8 by 5, high bed, needs some work, for sale, 8,500 Central Florida. So now this is also skewed. Florida and California are like 2 of the top 3 as far as population. So it's not exactly fair that I'm like, oh, Florida and California. I will say they're both fair weather states though. And Florida was popping during COVID. Housing prices was through the roof. So
business is booming.
Oh yeah. Business booming,
that's the other thing
moving.
Yeah,
shaking,
so Florida was number 2 in one-way moves in the year 2022. Texas was number 1 in one-way moves. So
as long as they keep their politics where they left them.
Well, yeah, exactly. But you also dig into what does that mean for small businesses, right? Obviously, you're like, oh yeah, more people, more business, but more people, right? More money is getting filtered in. At the same time, more people need to live places, so that is affecting the economy. So the biggest thing I'm seeing, there's a guy that I had a phone call with. I don't know if he talked to you. He's out of Vancouver, Canada. He's been in business for 2 years. He has a truck and a trailer, just him. Sometimes he'll get someone to help him on jobs. The biggest thing he told me that stuck with me was, I don't really need the money. I'm just doing it because I like to do it. But I live with family, don't really have many expenses. I'm just wondering, how do I grow? And I said, the first thing you got to do is treat it like you need the money, for one.
Yeah.
Golly. But, he's been doing it for 2 years. And I asked him, like, hey, what's your biggest job? What's your biggest month? And his biggest job was his biggest month, unfortunately. Right. So he had like a $4,000 month, but it was off of one job. And it goes back to, what do you want? Right. What do you want out of your business and why you're doing it? We could get into that discussion on the whole why for hours. But the problem that I saw was he really didn't have any motivation to do better. He didn't have any motivation to really press the limits and actually get out there more and get more business. He said he only does Facebook, free post. He'll do the free ads on Craigslist. He's like, other than that, whenever I get calls, I answer and I go do them, but I want more business. And I said, okay.
Well, right now he has a hobby. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Sounds like he's got a hobby, not a business.
Right now he has a hobby. He has the mentality of, a customer only needs this once. That's it.
Yep.
So he doesn't keep any information. And I was like, dude.
He called you? He reached out to you? It was like, hey, I want to, real quick.
Yeah, he actually reached out.
I'm still scrolling. There's another truck there's a truck for sale in Houston. All right.
Yeah, he reached out on the page, and then
I'm still scrolling. I'm keeping you up to date. So we got 3 for Florida, 2 for California, 1 for Houston. All warm weather places.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the issue. With that, you have a hobby. A hobby's not a business, and when you treat you know, that's like, you know, saying you got a side chick and all of a sudden you want to wife her up. It's like, well, that ain't where you want to be, right? Yeah. If you wanted her to make you dinner every night and be loyal to you, you probably should have treated her like that from the word go. And so now, right, I always tell people, get the first 100 jobs below your belt and then figure out what you want to do, right? If it's something you really want to do. Along the way, do the things right, though. That's the problem, though. That's like, you did it wrong, so now you got to create, you got to break bad habits and start new good ones. So for other listeners or this guy out there, it's like, fuck, listen to what we're talking about in this podcast. And I say this because I'm coming from a place of love. For 7 years, I had that side hustle and that mentality where it was like, oh, I'll just, like, it was basically, I printed off flyers, I had business cards, and I would periodically kind of sometimes hand them out. And I would get random phone calls from people that knew of me because of my dad or my mom or the church or whatever. And that was it. And once I started taking it serious, then the market started taking me serious. And I grew from, you know, my brother and I banging out some jobs on the weekends to what I have now. So yeah, there's, I just found another one for West Palm Beach. That same one in Florida. It's been for sale since, I suppose, June 30th. It's been for sale for like 2 weeks. Looks like a nice sharp truck. It's a dump truck, so I'm not my jam. Also, man, here's another thing I'm going to talk about real quick. Leads. Let me tell you how much I hate fucking leads. Michael Creed, mentor of mine, always talks about introductions. Get introductions. Almost all the marketing people are going to talk about leads. How many leads you want? I'm going to get you some leads. It's like, well, leads are only, you know, transactional. Get you from leads to the transaction. What I'm interested in is introductions. I want to get to know the people, who they know, projects they might have coming up, and then it'll turn into a transactional relationship with revenue after we transcended, you know, the leads mindset. There you go. So words fucking matter. Real quick plug. We're 20 minutes into the episode, plugging my book, Words Fucking Matter, Retrain Your Brain to Use Language That Serves You, brought to you by Andy Weins. Go buy the book on Amazon. There's my plug. Oh, Jobber. If we mention Jobber, they pay me. Now you know. Someone hit me up earlier today asking for the link on the Facebook for our job. Oh, on LinkedIn, actually. If I find me on LinkedIn, make me a shout out to this guy on LinkedIn. You know, if you find me on LinkedIn, you add. I'm gonna tell you, I'm getting there. You know, there's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous. Here we go. So this is truly free show. Patrick Gallagher. Patrick Gallagher. I don't know if you know that guy. I'm looking him up. All right. So I asked him. I always ask people the same question. If you ever reach out to me, if this is how I know you're paying attention to what we're doing, right off the bat, tell me what it is about the podcast you love. Because people are like, "Oh, I love your podcast." I'm like, cool, what? Because half the time people tell me they love my podcast, and in case he gets the same thing, we get it's just people soliciting us and like, "Oh, hey, bring us on as a sponsor," or "Hey, pay us to get more people to find you," or some bullshit. Anyways, so this guy said, "Hey," when he asked about what was a promo code for Jobber, so I sent him the link. It's go.getjobber.com/Camo Crew Junk Removal is the official partner page. You click the link. I get credit for being a partner of Jobber, and they take a couple bucks off my bill every month. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so this guy, Patrick Gallagher, I looked him up, Pennsylvania native, and owns Cut the Clutter LLC since January of 2020. I like that. And before that, he worked for a rental business, so I like that. Cut the Clutter. My first business name was the Clutter Busters. I have no idea where. I don't know where. I have no fucking clue. I'm Feasterville/Trevose, Pennsylvania. That ain't even a real place. I don't even know what that is. I'm fucking Googling that shit.
That is made up.
I'm going to tell you something. That ain't a real place.
So I don't like the name clutter in a business name.
Why not?
To be honest,
is it cluttering?
I don't think it resonates as much as junk or junk removal. My personal opinion. I'm not saying it's right.
He is that place, Feasterville slash or dash Travos. He's up there, northeast Philadelphia suburbs, halfway to Trenton, New Jersey. Shout out to cut the clutter. All right, let's talk about that. So our tagline is "Got clutter, call the crew," and I prefer the word clutter over junk because
can you even use that though? Can you use the latter? Is that even legal? Can you got junk, call the crew?
I'm sure I could.
Or is it like trademark infringement?
I also could get sued.
Yeah.
No, I also use the word. I also prefer to use the word clutter in general speakies. Where I also don't like to call it trash. Like this podcast, we call this Trash Talk Business Podcast. Who knows? And like 7 years from now,
trash is just very generalized.
Correct. And also we're talking shit and trash, and shit might be offensive. I mean, then again, I wrote a book with the word fucking in it, so it's 2023.
Really?
Yeah, well, just because you're offended doesn't mean I'm offensive. What was I saying? Pat Gallagher reached out to me on LinkedIn. Oh, this is what I was going to get to. He said he wanted the promo code. I sent it, and all I said was, "Hey, what stands out the most on the podcast?" He said, "Just fucking do it." That might get me sued on the account of Nike.
No, because they can't say the F word without talking about how they F over child labor laws and stuff.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we get T-shirts made that say "Just fucking do it" with like a wave.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored. Yeah, Taylor, our podcast producer, came in to remind us that we're not sponsored.
I'd even go as far as putting on your shirts like, "Hey, we use consenting adults for our labor." They have at least,
all labor is
hit puberty. Golly,
jeez, you're really fired up about
Nike, Apple. I mean, it's all common knowledge.
It is, and yet people buy iPhones. I actually wear my shoes are Nikes. It is what it is, And the what is it? Air? What is it? The Jordan movie on Amazon.
I didn't watch it.
Good movie. I don't agree with the politics of Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. And it was a good ass movie. I agree with their acting ability. And I
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no.
They're great actors.
Well, that's the thing. There's certain companies I boycott by way of their political ideology. Okay, here's a classic example. 2 large companies, Carhartt, the working man's fucking brand. Yeah. I grew up on Carhartt. I like to have a Carhartt like pair of bibs or jacket. Like you had money, right? Because I had Duck Dry. I grew up on the Duck Dry, the not Carhartt brand. And then when they were forcing, or Dickies was also that was the nice brand at the Fleet Farm. However, when Carhartt was forcing their employees to get poked, and then Carhartt turned it into this like woke, I don't know how to work anymore brand. I was like, I'm done with Carhartt. And one of my buddies gave me a Carhartt hat to wear, and I'm like, man, this is a comfy hat, and I didn't pay for it, and now I still have it. I don't know if I'll ever wear it again. I won't buy their brand though. I don't like the Carhartt brand because I can replace it otherwise. Here's the flip side. Aldi, I do not like Aldi. Aldi also was making people get the jabby jab, which I'm not against the jab. I actually got the COVID vaccine. My own personal choice. I'm not advocating for it.
This is being recorded.
That's correct. Whatever. If the microchip's in me, it's already in me. Also, Taylor, our producer, came in earlier and said that as of today, Fauci said that COVID is no more. Anyways,
okay.
Here's the deal. I was very anti Aldi because of their stance on making people get the jab. German company, I think German maybe. And also, I don't like the shopping experience. I get confused and lost in an Aldi. That's a fact. However, I come to find out recently they have the best liver sausage. My mom buys the Aldi liver sausage, and it was at her house. And I was like, I've never seen this. This is delicious. She goes, I get it from Aldi. So now, whenever she goes to Aldi, she buys me
German.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I like the Oscar Mayer liver sausage, and we got Usingers here in Milwaukee, and I like it. I don't love it. I'll tell you, the Aldi liver sausage on fucking point.
Golly, so I will talk about Aldi right now.
I will compromise my political stance when it comes to apparently food. That's where I draw the line.
Well, a
Liver
lot of people got upset with Bud Light, so they stopped drinking it. There's a way to do that.
Oh yeah, actually, that's what's interesting with that is I thought Bud Light was shit beer before, and now we talked about this. Bud Light, the Bud Night, they've had some of the best, like Dilly Dilly. Come on, they've had some of the best marketing campaigns through the years, and then
I think they just got bored. Like, let's just stir the pot. Let's see what happens.
How do we fuck this up?
Let's create the challenge for us so we can get back on top.
When I'm drinking beer, I have a bunch of PBR stuff, PBR and Schlitz stuff here in my office because we're in the Milwaukee area. Maybe Taylor, I'm going to have Taylor come in here and point the camera around because I'm not looking at it anyways. When I order a beer, I don't drink anymore. When I did order a beer, the last thing I thought about was like, hey, where do these political dollars go? Just point the camera in that corner where we got Blatz. Do I have any Blatz stuff? I don't know. I know I have Schlitz and Pabst stuff. I'm gonna have to turn the light on in here. I have a 99 pack of Pabst, which they made. It comes out every now and then. Also have Michael Jordan poster. We're giving you guys the behind the scenes. And by behind the scenes for people watching at home, it's basically the coolest things I've found through the years I put in my office, including this fuck off sword, and then also like 3 backpacks. I have 4 backpacks on my couch and a crossbow currently. So I don't sit on the couch in my office. It's a comfy couch too. It's a great couch. I have slept on it more than once. As before. I also, Casey, big news. Did we talk about this last episode? Maybe we did. I don't live in a warehouse anymore.
We didn't talk about that. You have graduated your warehouse. Good job.
There we go. It took on Thursday I had hot water and a shower, and I was told on Friday I had air conditioning. So I'm like, hey, I don't need much else.
So is it the same house that I was at? Or is it a different house completely?
No. I sold that house. That's right. In Jackson. So my parents and I, our family, we own a farm in Mequon. And it was a house that I was supposed to clean out. Or I was hired, not supposed to. I was hired to clean out the house. And I was like, wait, how much, can I just buy the house? And they're like, yeah. So parents bought it. It's got got a duplex. We got a couple renters there. And it's on 16 acres. And we have a bunch of people that rent land. And then there was the house that was next to it. Taylor's eyeing me out, so I look good. And then it was the house next to it I bought. So now we have 18 acres as a family, plus 60 acres behind us for hunting, because it's like city-owned property, and they only let so many people hunt, so that's awesome. And then, it's great. My daughter basically runs out the back of my door and goes next door to the farm and checks on the chickens. And
it's the house that's in front of the barn. Next to the barn.
Next to the barn, yeah.
Next to the barn. Yeah.
So
great spot.
Yeah, it's not done being remodeled. I still have trim and other things that need to get unfucked. It'll happen in time.
So I do want to get back to one thing business related.
Oh yeah.
That's I know we got off track a little bit. Somehow we went huge in different directions.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to say though, and I was saying this the other day. There's 3 types of people that I think you need. 1, you need their money. 2, you want to work with them. And the third person is the person that gets you in front of those 2 people. Right? The connectors.
Yeah.
And, obviously right now I use this group of people for, real estate and stuff with the nonprofit I'm with. But in business, if you think about it, it's the same principles, because there's people that, it's just a very transactional job, one-time thing, cool. But then there's people that you actually want to continue business with. They're easy to work with. They pay on time. They give you weekly, jobs, whatever. But then you also have the people that connect, right? And that's who we talk about a lot. The real estate agents, the insurance agents, the title companies, those kind of people that schmooze. Right now, that's the basics. Those are called basics. And, going back to what we were talking about, the marketing angle. If you're not talking to people and telling them what you're doing, they're not going to know. I have switched. I work for a nonprofit now, Gallant Few. It's a veteran nonprofit. And I got brought on as their development director in May. Well, here's the thing. Out of all the people that know me, probably 99.9% have no idea that's what I do now. Not because it's not on Facebook. It's on Facebook, but it's because I haven't gone out and told people that's what I do now. So I have to get back into the networking game and have to make sure I'm picky, go to the right ones, and start introducing myself as Casey Lawrence with Gallant Few, because that's who I am now. And that's the thing is, yeah, online marketing is great, but I guarantee we get an SEO expert in here, a marketing expert, just like Louis Vandervog, shout out up in Canada. He says the same thing. Online digital marketing is a small piece to the big puzzle. It's one spoke on that wagon wheel that we call marketing. And if all spokes aren't attended to, well, you're not gonna roll as smooth. So, get out there, be present in your communities. I told that guy in Vancouver, I'm like, dude, draw a big ass circle around where you are and start being there. If you can drive 30 minutes in every direction, if you're very populated, start meeting people in your community. Be the person, right?
Well, yeah. Well, we've talked about it several times. Aim small, miss small.
Yeah. Well, and I just think, when you start selling stuff off, that's fine. I get it. But you have to look at what you're doing. We've said this many times. When you're busy, quote unquote busy, you got jobs all the time, you stop marketing because you don't have time for it. The issue is you didn't make time for it, or maybe it wasn't a priority to you, but it's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, there's the better word. Priority is the better word there.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm in I jumped over to the junk removal business owners discussion Facebook group, and now they have what do you call it? There's one page they got what do you call it? Dumpsters for sale. So that's interesting.
It is interesting because so far the people
20 and 30-yard dumpsters.
Oh, those are, I don't know why they're for sale. Down here, shoot, 30s. I mean, they're booked. 20s, 30s, they can't get them.
Yeah.
So point them to Texas. Maybe they can get their sold.
Yeah, well, this goes back also to different markets, to different things, what works in one market doesn't necessarily work in another. So, yeah. I mean, here, dumpsters are a hot commodity. Most people get 20s and 30s. They don't do the 12 to 15s. I know sometimes on the coast they do them, or they're down in Florida, or HOAs don't allow them. Here we go. I'm gonna give a little shout out here. I'm gonna read this one. Lawrence Marion, top contributor on the junk removal business owners discussion. Hi, y'all. Just want to introduce myself and share a photo I took. My name is Lawrence, and I'm recently retired from the military army. Me and my family decided to start this business and hopefully make something out of it and have something to pass down to our kids. Let's fucking go. I want to have this guy, Marion's Junk Removal. Keep it fucking classy. He's got a fifth wheel dump trailer in his shirt, triaxle. And he's also got an enclosed trailer. Let's fucking go. I kind of want to reach out to this guy. I want to know why he decided to go to junk removal.
Yeah.
Here we go. We're giving random shout outs to people. But you know what this is about? Why we do this podcast. Taylor and I talk. Taylor Chisholm, I don't know, the guy from
Chastain.
Up and Away. Chastain, thank you.
Yeah.
Up and Away junk removal down there outside of Atlanta. He said, hey, why do you do this? And the goal is that we grow this industry. Because I have seen several posts here about, hey, it's not a race to the bottom, right? Don't be the cheapest guy, be the best guy or gal. And that's very important that we continue to build up this industry. So that's why we are doing this podcast. Even like a day like today, we had a guest bounce, and it's like, well, no, let's still take the hour to talk about the industry and what we can do, because people look forward to this content. They look forward to words of encouragement. They look forward to one or two nuggets that they didn't have before that they can catch on a Monday morning on their way to work, and that's important. And also, when people reach out to us, like that guy from Canada or this random guy, hey man, we see you. We've been in your boots. We know the struggles you're going through, and that's why we want to be here to promote you and promote these other independent owner-operated junk removal businesses. I'm excited when I see new guys coming into this industry because they're going to push us and propel us forward. And for the guys that are getting out, they're getting out. That's the natural attrition of business.
Yeah.
80% of businesses don't make it 10 years, or 50% don't make it 5, whatever it is, right? And so for those of us that are in it and choose to stay in it, it's an opportunity for us to create generational wealth, an opportunity for us to create solutions for our community too. Like this guy, he's like, hey, I want to have something to pass down to my kids. And that is noteworthy. And so, hey, we'll give a shout out to Marion's Junk Removal. And for people that want to, support him down there. He's in Alabama. Like, this is an opportunity to support him and give him some tips and tricks so he can be successful and grow this industry and make this industry as professional as possible.
Yeah, I just messaged. I commented him on his post. No, I like that, and that's the thing is, I got in, and a lot of people know this. I got into junk removal by happenstance, really. But it wasn't until I got into junk removal that I realized I loved the business aspect of it, the community aspect of it. Talking to other people, getting to meet different people, and really watching something grow that mainly grew around me. And it made me feel really good. Like, I mean, yeah, it was hard work, but there's sometimes I tell my wife, I'm like, sometimes I actually miss the man shit, right? Like the hard stuff, coming home and you're just like disgusting and sweaty, but you know that you just did a really productive hard day of work, you know?
Oh yeah.
And it's just, it's pretty cool. I think, a lot of us, maybe they got in for the extra cash. But yeah, for me, I originally got in because I didn't really know what else to do. And it was an opportunity. And I said, sure, I'm pretty good. I mean, if you can't pick up trash, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I got in and we looked at it first as a very straightforward business. You pick up people's junk and you go throw it away for them. But then it became this completely different world of, wait a minute, there's recycling. Yeah. Oh, there's this avenue of revenue dollars, right? Oh, we can make extra revenue here. We can actually work with partners here and help people here, blah, blah, blah. So it is what you make it. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that like to do, construction, right? It's hard work. Me, yeah. You don't want me building anything for you. I can understand it. Like, I can understand the concept, but yeah. First phase, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm kind of over this. Like, damn. I'm good.
I was a carpenter. I was a carpenter for years, and I wasn't a great one. So the reason I didn't take over my dad's remodeling business.
Oh man. No, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where, if you're not in it to win it, then why are you in it? And like you said, do you want to do bad in two things, or you want to do great in one thing?
Yeah.
Producer Taylor and I were talking before we started this podcast episode and talking about different subjects. And I brought up how expanding services has different meaning to people. Yep. For instance, the whole power washing. Hey, I have a truck and trailer. Why not implement power washing when times are slow? In my opinion, is power washing is its own business. And if you do it the same way you could do junk removal, it could be a very healthy and wealth building business. I think interior demolition is a great service to add on to junk removal. I think,
Tracy, we should do another hold on. We should do another 6-month check-in with Tracy. 6 months ago, we convinced him to quit his job. Well, he convinced himself after we listened to one episode.
Let's not take that credit until we talk to him again. And he's like, yeah, I love my life.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
If he comes back, he's like, man, my life is shit right now. I can't believe I quit my job. Why'd y'all talk me into it? That'd be a little different story.
Yeah. That's funny.
No, we actually have some pretty cool guests coming up, though. One, shout out to Russ Burry. He'll be on in August. And dude's been killing it on the East Coast. A little outspoken, but I think I kind of like it. He's very straight to the point. He's opinionated, but he backs up with data, right?
Data-driven, little data-driven decisions. I like it.
And he was referred by our boy Barton. So, if Barton likes you, you can't be doing too much stuff wrong.
Yeah. Well, and Barton's a little outspoken, and some may say we're a little outspoken. So,
yeah, that is a good point. I don't think it's outspoken as much as I think it's very confident in your niche. Right. I mean,
well, if you know your shit, you know your shit, and if you don't, you don't.
But I don't see you going out there doing consulting services with, a painting company, a house painting company, or a real estate photography company.
Yeah. No.
You stay in your lane and you double down.
Yeah. No,
what are you looking up over there?
I found this post right on. It was talking about how to basically SEO. So I copy and pasted it to myself so I can read it, and then you talked at the top of the episode about SEO. Maybe we bring this guy on. Today I'm sharing a detailed case study on how I helped one of my clients, Jonathan John Lawrence Soul. Looks like total get more leads and get found on Google. I mean, his total digital creator guy. I copied it. He posted it. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him on.
Well, I tell you what, that reminds me. There's a guy.
What's up? I would say listeners, whoever's been listening to us the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes farting around, who the fuck do you want us to interview? Like, not like, I want a guy that does. No. If you have, do you have an amazing marketing company that everybody else needs to know? Like, that's who I want to interview. I want to interview somebody that one of our listeners is like, yep, this is the guy. There's a reason why we've never had my marketing company on this podcast. I don't think they're that amazing. I think there good. I won't say they're great. There's a reason why we brought a guy like Lewis. Lewis is legit. I like Lewis. Lewis knows his shit. Lewis was referred to us by other people that say, yep, Lewis is the man.
Yeah.
And so that's what's interesting to me is tell us who you have that are subs or vendors of yours that really kick ass. We want to interview them.
Absolutely.
I'd say they'll love you for it.
And for those that are listening, if you know Dave Lewis out there in Auckland, New Zealand, who's just slaying junk removal.
Yes. We want to intro there.
Go, rubbish removal. If you know him, we need you to put pressure on him to come on this show. He is doing awesome, and I really want to know more about his story. Dave Lewis, junk to go, rubbish removal in New Zealand. Straight killing it. Seems like a great guy. I want to have him on the podcast.
Have you reached out and not got anywhere? What's the story there?
I have. I mean, I can share the conversation we had. Privately or publicly, doesn't matter. He's very nice. He's just not interested right now. He just said, look, it's a no for now, dog. He didn't say dog.
All right. You know what? Tell you what, challenge accepted.
I think he thinks this podcast is a coaching podcast.
It's not.
Coaching in the junk game to be on, because he's been asked many times from other coaching podcasts to be on their show. And, I don't know if there's a miscommunication there, but I've stressed to him it has nothing to do with the coaching program either one of us do.
No. If people it was kind of a reverse. You know what? He runs Jeeps too. He's got a couple of Jeeps and a Toyota. I like it.
Who? Does he?
Dave Lewis. He's got 2 Jeeps. I'm looking at him. I wouldn't bullshit you. Those are his salespeople. He goes, my life is rubbish. As the founder of Junk to Go, I've grown the company into one of the Southern Hemisphere's leading privately owned rubbish/trash and junk removal companies, using world-class systems and processes, leading edge technology, and working with some of the world's foremost mentors. Man, I'd like to get him. 2004. Yeah, he's been hustling for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he ain't exactly a fucking lightweight. I would go to New Zealand. That's the other thing for listeners out there. My fee is simple. You pay for my travel, I will come to your location.
Yeah.
Travel and chow, and I'm not bougie. I mean, I like me some shrimp when I get down south. Other than that, travel and chow, and I will come and give you my time. And all I ask in return is you take me to a scrapyard or two. You got to tease me. You got to show me the good stuff.
Well, and to his point, to this guy's point, yeah, you do some consulting, but that's not what that's not only what you do. And that's not even your main thing.
My consulting normally is like, hey, I got this thing that's fucked. I don't know where to start. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take a look at her. That's it.
And as far as like coaching goes, for me, I do it because I enjoy doing it, but I'm actually picky. I know it may sound bad, but I don't want to have a coaching company that I have to build into a 24/7 operation. That's not my main source of income, and I don't treat it as such. Obviously, or you'd see ads everywhere, like these other guys that are, oh yeah, be a junk removal millionaire in 3 minutes. I mean, that's not me. I'm just like, hey, if you reach out to me, obviously we'll have a conversation. The guy in Canada and we talked about it. He's not a good candidate. I'll also be the first one to tell you, if you've surpassed me in junk removal, I have no business teaching you anything. And I'll tell you that. So,
well, you gotta find the right solution for the right person.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For me, I got reached out to earlier today or over the weekend about a large project. They're like, hey, how would you tackle it? And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I will take on, and I just like, hey, here are the questions I would ask before I did anything. And like, oh, I never thought to ask those questions. And it's like, I didn't give them shit for actual advice. I gave them the questions I would have asked before I would bid the job. I'm like, you're talking about how to bid you're talking about how to do the job. And I'm like, you haven't even bid it yet. Like, make sure you don't lose money. There's step one, don't lose money. And in order to not lose money, what questions do you need to ask?
Well, first you got to qualify it. Yeah, you got to make sure you can even do it.
Right, like hey, when some people are like, oh, I want to win this job, I'm like, all right, why? Oh, it's a really high revenue. Cool. What's your anticipated margin? Well, I don't know. Well, how long is it going to take? I don't know. How are you going to do it? I don't know. Well, shit.
So that happened to Monica, actually. She got an offer to do a pretty cool, not just photo shoot, but do some video work for a landscape company, local. And they're pretty big. They have a good amount of employees. And the lady wrote to her everything she wanted. And it was like, okay, so it sounds like you're going to be outside for about 4 hours in this Texas heat taking pictures. So do you want to do that? Do you want to do it? And if you say no, what would make you do it if you really had to do it? So she priced it as such. She's like, look, I really don't want to do this, but if it's a good opportunity, and if I were to do this, I'm going to get paid. So she put it together with a very high margin. She sent it through, and they're like, yeah, a little out of our budget. But that's okay. Because for her to be uncomfortable, she added a premium. Hey, look, if I'm going to be outside sweating my ass off at 110 degrees following a landscape crew, I'm going to get paid for it.
Yeah, and it's also not her primary. It's also not her primary business.
It's not.
There's somebody else that would jump all over that opportunity because
she doesn't like doing videography. And that's the other thing is she wants to master photography before she even ventures into videography, which I 100% respect and agree with. And that's how you have to do it. If someone's asking you to do something that may be a little uncomfortable for you, first you got to figure out if you really want to do it. If you don't want to do it, but you could do it, price for the discomfort, right?
Yeah, well, this is completely different. Videography. I own a videography company for a while. Those are two completely different things. Videography and photography. Like we're not even the same realm of things. All right. Well, shit. I could talk for another hour, or it could be done now. Let's be done now. I gotta go find a cup of decaf coffee. That's what I really need in my life. I placebo myself with decaf coffee throughout the day, and I haven't had my decaf coffee because I ran out of K-Cups. Oh, absolutely, dude.
Dude, I will say this. I do talk shit about you when it comes to decaf coffee.
Thank you. It's fine. I don't give a shit.
I don't understand it.
I love
like the
coffee.
taste that much?
Oh my God, I love fucking coffee.
Golly.
Yeah. I love coffee. It's
like
it's
NA
85
beer.
degrees out. I don't drink anymore. Maybe I'll try NA beer. Maybe I'll sit around and drink O'Doul's or Sharps.
Well, now every company has their NA brand. Miller, I mean, you name it. Hell, Dos Equis has Dos Equis Salt and Lime, non-alcoholic.
Well, yeah.
So,
it's got to be the same calorie count, though.
Yeah.
I'm yawning because I haven't had my decaf coffee this afternoon. I'm a fucking old man, all right? Casey, Casey, I know you're old and gray. When you get to almost 40 like me, let me tell you something. I'm almost 40. That's fucking old.
I'm almost 35.
There we go. I wore flip-flops today to work.
Yeah.
And all I've done today is podcast and sit in front of my computer, and I'm still wearing flip-flops. So I felt like you today. I'm like, what would Casey do on a Monday when it's 85 degrees out? I did walk to the gas station.
I wouldn't be inside, that's for sure.
What is it? I don't know what it is. It was nice. It's nice. I'll say it's 88 degrees out today. I'm going to walk 3 blocks to the gas station to pick up a cup of decaf coffee. That's what I'm going to do. I had a rotisserie chicken for lunch. Throwing that out there. Taylor just texted, or Taylor, our producer. Oh, he texted like an hour ago in our podcast. Got to wonder if some of those trucks are from companies that didn't qualify and get the right customers. Yeah, I would say people that were clearly not listening to the Trash Talk Business podcast and heeding all the advice. The challenge with this podcast too is the longer we do it, the more likely that we're going to contradict ourselves at some point. So listen to the episodes in order. There's my recommendation. Do we have actually has there been a significant thing we've said today that would lend itself to a title? I don't know if there has been.
Sometimes you just got to freestyle, man.
Sometimes you just got to freestyle. There we go. All right, what's
next on the docket though? Let's put that out there. Who's next on our guest list? Do we have that?
You talked about Russ.
Yeah, Russ that's until August. Up. Yeah.
Oh shit! We're recording this episode July 10. Next week we have an amazing guest, Adam and Nicole from Parrot Services. These guys, I met these cats. They are going to be talking about what are those fucking bonds? We're going to be talking about bonds. I know nothing about bonds. I met them at a conference, and
I learned a very limited amount about them.
Yeah, and I didn't know anything about bonds, and bonds are important, especially we talked about getting into larger commercial projects or demolition deconstruction. So bonds and a general business conversation. That'll be interesting conversation. Next up after that is Dave McClurg. Dave McClurg is one of my lawyers. We had one of my lawyers on already. That was more general business. This guy specializes in employee stuff. So
that's good.
Actually, you know what? Throw that up on the VIP group. What free legal advice do you want? We should lean into that one a little bit. Get some questions going. Dave McClurg is coming up. Petrie and Pettit here in Milwaukee. So he specializes in staying out of jail and or getting sued from current or former employees. So that's a big deal, right? It's one thing to talk about revenue. It's a whole other thing to talk about cutting expense. And when you can not get sued, let me tell you something. That's a direction. That we're going the right direction. And then next guy is Logan and Kyle from Junkless Junk Removal, junklessjunkremoval.com. Those kids down in, where are they? Down there in Florida. I don't know where
Logan
they are
Carnes?
in Florida.
Yeah, they're in Daytona Beach area. They're doing pretty good.
Daytona Beach. So you know them, or have you talked to them before?
Talked to them many times. Yeah, we talk every now and then.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, I've never talked to them. We'll wait till the episode. We'll tease it. That one sparks may fly. I'll leave it there. There's your 3-week teaser. Those are the next 3 episodes. Because that one there I'm looking forward to. Because I like conflict, and so we might have ourselves some conflict on that episode in an effort that the industry grows. And I'm willing to have said conflict, and also willing to give people that I don't agree with opportunity on a platform within this industry. So it's a 2-way street. You can fight with me. I don't give a shit. I'll have you on and we can fight. Yeah, Daytona Beach, home of what is it, America's Race? What do they call the 500? The American race.
Yeah. Is that what Daytona,
they call it, Daytona 500? I don't know. I don't know NASCAR. I know Dave Portnoy. Pizza Reviews talked about it. That's what I do know.
He's a good dude. El Presidente.
Davey Page Views. El Presidente. All the things. All right, let's go around the horn. Starting with you, Casey. Top takeaways from today.
Top takeaways. I got 3. First one is Aldi ain't that bad when it comes to liver sausage or whatever you said.
Aldi. What did you say? Aldi? What are we doing here? Aldi. It's true.
There's no U. I don't see why I would say it.
Aldi?
It's
Aldal.
It's German. But you like the liver sausage? There you go, Aldi. The other takeaway is, if you are looking at front end revenue issues, take a deep dive into your business. Are you marketing enough? Are you marketing the right places? Do you even know who your demographic customer is? And if you don't, why? Why not? Why don't you know these things? If you need help, reach out. Reach out to other people. Reach out to marketing experts, right? Reach out to other junk removal companies. Collaborate. Get mix it up a little bit. And then the third and final thing, I'd like to ask the whole audience to do this. If you could all go and tell us, what are you interested in most when it comes to this podcast? I really want to know, and I'll post this in the group as well. But if you could say one thing you're interested in most hearing from this podcast, I want to know what it is. What keeps you listening, right? That's all I got for takeaways. What about you?
I as we're texting, so I got a connection from Matt Fitch.
Yeah, I know Matt.
And haven't
Matt, talked to him.
He said, "Hey Andy, Matt Fitch from iHaul's private Facebook group for junk haulers, about to approve your membership in the group. Just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. Glad to have you." There we go. Boom. So there you go, Matt Fitch. I will, or maybe will be a future guest. See, late breaking news. You guys are getting it as it's coming in. You're getting it. That's how we do things around here.
So my bad for not accepting his invitation months ago when he first started that group. I didn't know if it was legit yet. I didn't know if he was just a broker or what. So I wanted to,
I still don't know. Oh, well, here's the deal. He's a marketing guy. Here we go. I'm going to text him. Hold on. Would love to have you on the podcast sometime, ! What's your email address, ? See, you guys are getting late. Like, this is how freestyle this episode is. I'm working. I'm searching the Facebook groups. I'm adding people. You see me. This is how we conduct business. There we go. That's how we do conduct business. I want you on the podcast. What's your email address? Let's do the fucking thing. We might have another guest book by the end of this episode. All right. Top takeaway, and this came from Mr. What is it? Patrick Gallahan, Philadelphia guy that hit me up earlier today. Do the fucking thing. That's it, right? He says, just fucking do it. That's what it comes down to. This podcast today, we have the opportunity to skip an episode. Like, now we'll push it off another week. No, we committed to what we're saying. And for the companies out there that are struggling, they're looking to sell their trucks or right size, whatever you want to call it. You know what? Get out there and do the thing. Get out there and market. Do what's uncomfortable, because you're not going to stay in business when you stay comfortable. So continue to push the level of what's uncomfortable. And once it becomes comfortable, find some new thing to tackle. When you don't do that, you will ultimately let the industry and the life fly by you. So that's what I'm pushing out there. Look at there. Matt, he goes, sweet. I'll check it out. Sales at marketingjunkandwool.com. There you go. Look at that. The people asked. The people said, hey, we want another marketing company. Random guy approves me in some junk and wool group. He's going to hawk his shit at us. And you know what? We're going to give him the platform to do that, because that's what we do here at the Trash Talk Business Podcast, your weekly episode of trash and talk and junk removal to grow, scale, build your business. I'm Andy Weins. He's Casey Bubba Lawrence. We're going to see you again next week with another amazing episode.